gold, bonds, and the dollar to try to go into, let's say, some higher yielding assets. So that's it. Welcome back, everybody. Another live trading stream. The world looks like it's falling apart. If you're on social media, if you step outside, it's actually pretty beautiful. All right. It might be raining where you're at, it might be storming. It doesn't matter. Life is still good. If you're living in one of these places that's dealing with some serious turmoil, just know we got your back in whatever way we can. I'm going to give you guys the best quality information that you could get so that you can make informed decisions. And hopefully, regardless of where you're at, you guys can, we can help everyone navigate this very chaotic time by, best understanding not just what's happening, but how we can take advantage of it. So we're not going to be victims of the time. Instead, we're going to be victors of the time, and we're going to take advantage. Okay? All right. Quick reminders. FX Summit 2024 is right around the corner. Time is running out. We got about 4 months left, a little bit under 4 months. So if you guys are going to grab your tickets, flights, everything, make sure to do so ASAP while prices are still absolutely amazing. And we're running a quick promotion, which is if you guys are flying out, if you send us to info@fxsummit2024.com, if you send us a photo of your ticket, of your flight, we'll deduct that from your VIP ticket price. It's the best deal you can get for any event. And we're really just trying to look out for the folks that are going to make a commitment to fly out from all over the world, because I know it's a tough thing to do, and we're here to support any way we can. Also, the last NASDAQ Masterclass, the class that we teach, it's a 4-day live experience. It's virtual. So regardless of where you're at in the world, you can participate. If you have work at that time, you have access to the recordings as well. This is going to be the last one that we do to teach the NASDAQ strategy. Make sure to check this out after this stream, because this is honestly the best strategy that we've ever taught. It's seeing tons and tons of results with our members, and we want to see those same results for you. Now, let's get back to what's happening in terms of data releases. Not too much going on this week. Last week was a big mover. Actually, the last 2 or 3 weeks were huge movers because we had a higher than expected GDP print, way better than expected inflation print, but an absolutely awful employment release with the unemployment rate at 4.3%. And so we talked about the emergency measures that the Fed may have to do in order to make sure we don't hit a recession. And so it's either going to be announcing an emergency rate cut at the Jackson Hole conference later this month, or it's going to be a guaranteed 25 basis point cut in September. Now, is a 25 basis point cut enough to get us out of a recession? Is anybody here going to go and get a mortgage for a house because it's 25 basis points cheaper? Honestly, no. But the sentiment is that we've started the rate cutting cycle. And because markets are forward looking, meaning that they're going to see around the corner what's happening in the next 6 months, they expect more rate cuts in the next 6 months, which is why we're going to see markets recover off of that news. Even though it's not necessarily going to have any material impact on the economy. Make sense? Difference between market impact versus economic impact. Thoughts on triggering the SAM rule? The SAM rule, honestly, I want to say it's irrelevant, but it's not. It's like a lot of these economic theories, like the efficient market hypothesis, where it's kind of like a unspoken rule in the background, but it's not a mandate from the Fed, and it's definitely not a policy constraint for the Fed, where if the SAM rule is activated, they have to cut rates. For everyone to understand, the SAM rule is basically a measure of using a percentage change in employment to detect a recession. Now, that's basically what you got to do anyways. You're going to have to use the full employment numbers to basically gauge. And if you start to see a miss in employment month over month over month, probably does signal a recession. Okay, but the SAM rule itself is just it's more of an idea than it is a constraint. It's not a law of finance or economics. Hope that makes sense. Just happy birthday to Goat. Man, thanks, Pops. Appreciate you. Hit the like button. I appreciate that. XL Pro. He says, what up, Doe? What's up, Zane? C4, Thabo, Ahmed, we already said C4, Kisevak, and Davis. Morning. We got all of our Chart Addicts members on the stream, and it's the fucking dream team. Got Mike, Miled. We have Roman. We got Roy. Roy, good to see you on here, brother. We made peace. All right. I guess this town was big enough for the both of us after all. Walter, good morning. We got JLP. Good morning, brother. We got Josh McGinnis, Janae, Hasna is in here, Chris, Bobby, and Two Step. Chris, Bobby, and Two Step? Lord have mercy. He says, wait, it's your birthday? Yeah, it is. No days off, people. Told y'all no. I mean, there's a few days off. But we got a lot going on, man. We got a 1,000-person event in Colombia later this month. Pretty excited about that. So a lot of folks are like, yo, what are you going to do for your birthday? What are you going to do? People, we're about to tour the entire globe. And we have a 1,000-person event in Colombia, which I've never even been to one time in my entire life. Then we have a 5,000-person conference in Dubai in November. And we have about 300 to 500 people in every city in England or in Europe. Liverpool, Manchester, London, Lisbon, Portugal, Madrid, Barcelona. That's what we're doing. So if you guys are in either of the countries I just mentioned, if you guys are in Lebanon, if you guys are in Lisbon, Portugal, Madrid, Barcelona, maybe even Marbella, because you know I got to make a stop if we're in Spain. We just came back from Puerto Rico. Shout out to everyone that made it out there. Walter, shout out to you, telling your boys to pull up. So if you guys have friends, family, or you are in Colombia, make sure to come out. We're doing a massive event in Medellin, and then we're doing another event in Bogota. So if you guys go to the events page here on the FX Summit website, you'll see some of the upcoming events. If it wants to load. All right, you'll see the Colombia workshop. All you got to do is RSVP to put in your name for the wait list, and then you will have full access to the event. Okay? Awesome stuff. Let's get back to markets. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate. Thank you, guys. All right, awesome stuff. Now, I really haven't been keeping up with news over the past day, so let's actually take a look around. Hold on, they're doing hella landscaping outside. All right, we're good. Let's take a look at some news here. Let's do Israel, Iran. Let's take a look and see what escalations. Okay, so there has been some escalations in Lebanon. And actually, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I'm not going to say the source, but this is very important. I don't know if this is public yet, but I have a friend that's in the armed forces, very high up, and he's getting deployed to Lebanon to go and make sure that all American citizens are safely out of the country. Now, this is very reminiscent of what happened in 07, 08, where there was an attack from Israel on mainland Beirut and mainland Junia, some of the other associated areas. Luckily, Anthony Bourdain was in Lebanon at the time, and he captured the entire thing on camera, which is the only reason why we were able to find out about really what was happening in some of the civilian areas that were getting hit. But we saw the entire thing from start to finish, where he was in one of the main hotels. He was hiding in the bunker underneath. There was bombs going off everywhere, and then he ended up getting put on a boat that took everyone over to Cyprus. So if you guys kind of want to understand the geography here, this island right here is Cyprus. Okay, then you have Lebanon, and you have Israel, and then Syria's over here. So Lebanon's really just kind of like pushed up on the coast with some hostility around. You heard me? So then there's going to be American, probably Navy ships here. They're going to escort all the American citizens off to Cyprus, and then from Cyprus, take planes out to the associated airports and out the country. That's not good. If that's not a sign of escalation, I'm not sure what is. I'm not going to be able to say exactly the source of that information, because I'm not trying to get in trouble or get them in trouble, but that's not good at all. We follow in this story. Why Israel needs more than Iron Dome to thwart the Iranian attack. We already talked about this. Okay. First off, this is the best stream in the world because we actually gave out military strategy, which is this whole idea that these smaller proxy groups are using low cost drones to basically deplete our resources, because it costs around $20 to $50 million to shoot down a drone, and it costs 50,000 to put up a drone. And so this new level of warfare means that we're going to have to replenish. That's why not Northrop Grumman, Lockheed Martin stock had jumped, because we know that we're going to have to replenish all stockpiles around the world for not just us, but our allies and partners, which means there's definitely escalation. Iran may be reconsidering a major strike on Israel after the American show of force. So American warships started already showing up to the region. I told you guys, I believe the warships are there for the safe removal of U.S. citizens. But when the warships show up to the coast, brother, and you are 5 missiles away from your entire country getting flatlined. We talked about this. When you have a very animated military force like Iran with proxy warfare that outnumber you in the region and have the clear advantage in the region, but they're going against a highly sophisticated, highly technologically advanced military force. The highly technologically advanced military force always wins. So you can send a rocket that will for sure hit the capital. You're not going to go out there and do something stupid. Okay? So it's like you're beefing. Have you guys ever seen a fight card, like a UFC fight card, where the two fighters start getting to it during the face-off and they're about to fight, and then you see the 6'4" ex-Navy SEAL, Green Beret guy with a scar down his face who's working security, dressed in all black, step in the middle. All of a sudden, these UFC fighters, killers, everybody listens. Okay? It's like the big brother walks in the room, or the parents walk in the room while the siblings are fighting. That's kind of the vibe when America shows up with the warships. All right? Dad just walked in, everybody fighting. He just dropped the bag. It's been a long day. Okay, we've been dealing with Ukraine. We're dealing with internal problems. He just dropped the bag as soon as he walked in. It was like, all right, I ain't even got to say nothing. All of a sudden, Iran's starting to second guess. You guys understand how that works? You guys understand the analogy? I can confirm my brother's manager was sent over there too for some reason. Brother's manager, where is he for? Happy anniversary of life. Thanks, Jeffner. Appreciate you guys. Thank you, everybody, for the well wishes. Make sure to drop a like on the stream. That'd be a pretty good birthday gift for me. Okay. The Post columnist noted that the Biden administration has been sending strong messages to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu not to stand in the way of the hostage deal, ceasefire negotiations, and messages. So just to break down the political dynamic here, actually, first off, markets. Just to let you guys know what I'm watching. I'm waiting for this. All right. Could we see a breakdown to the lows of, let's call this yesterday's session, and then a bounce up? Sure. But I would actually like to see a full retracement and then maybe even a bit lower. Not necessarily a full double bottom, but just a break back inside that range and then continuation. We've been watching this trade since last week, and we're going to make sure we keep our eye on it. Alerts getting put up at each one of these key levels just to make sure that we don't miss anything. Okay, gold hit that buy zone. I don't trade gold, but I've been tracking this for the folks that have been asking. Yeah, it doesn't really get better than this. Looks like the trade is playing itself out. Now, there's two options if we hold support here, because it's coming back down for a second test of the 2386 level. If it comes down for a second test, creates support, this is going to be your new launch pad. But if the market engulfs the 1, 2, 3 previous candles and starts to fill this wick, what you'll do is then you'll just look for the retracement of this impulse, a full retracement down. Members, you know exactly what I'm looking at here. Then push up. It's always 2 levels, and obviously there's rules that you can use to make it non-discretionary. Means you don't have to make a live decision every time. You can say it has to do the 3 R's, right? That's the most basic sort of like entry model that you learn if you're in IML or if you go to IML, the IML dropouts who are teaching like multiple confluence strategies. I'll hit you with the respect, reject, and retest. So you could use that so that you're not making an impulsive decision at this zone. Or you can do what we do, which is tester 1. If it retests, put a full position in, boom. Or tester, if it drops, hits SL, beautiful, full position 2. Okay? You don't know what I just said? Take the masterclass, save yourself a lot of headache. And yeah. All right, pretty straightforward. Bitcoin, still respecting our overall model. I expect this thing to go lower. I want to target the 40,000 and then maybe even the 30,000 range. The lower that Bitcoin goes, the better of a discount we get on the altcoins, which is where all the money is going to get made this next cycle. We talked about the M2 money supply getting, basically it broke out of that range, meaning, let me see if TradingView has M2. It better have it. There's no reason why they can't get this data. Straight from the Fed, shout out to TradingView. It's only a line chart? But what the hell is this data, bro? Oh my God. This is where I send a complaint. This is where I call Pierce. Say, Pierce, I don't care about this, the money stock. I have to go to the St. Louis Fed. All right, we're not going to do everything at one time. Long story short, I showed you guys they pumped up the M2 money supply. That money is going to get sent into the economy in the next probably month or so. And so in September, we've got trillions of dollars on the sidelines that has not found a home. And that's what we'll be looking for. Members, we already talked about this. There's no surprise here. There's a reason I trade USD JPY and Euro USD. It's not just because I live in America and I watch US economics, and so I have a pretty good grasp on what's happening, but also because UJ respects the model better than anything else. Okay. So second entry will be here at 78, TP1, 2, and then the TPs are the only thing that's different is I would go 60, 50, and then 23. Okay. Keep a lookout for that. The Japanese yen, I guess that didn't last. We hit that 72.52 level. I should have put a magnet here just for fun. Magnet indicator should have showed up, but it was lagging. But looks like the world is normalizing again. So if the Japanese yen continues to drop the way it's supposed to, then we'll see all the stocks recover a lot faster than expected. We did not have a break above the highs, even though we had a structural break with this wick. The body of the candlestick closed below the previous highs, signaling a higher low. Well, actually, maybe it's a double top. Let's check. Let's be accurate here. Yep, it's a higher low. So by definition, lower lows, lower highs still formed, bearish trend is still intact. And so if the yen continues to the downside, UJ, this like little pullback that we get probably on Friday, and we're going to take this trade together. This pullback that we get is probably going to happen a lot sooner than expected. So probably in the next day or 2 days, ideally by Friday. Okay, now that we've taken a tour around the different markets, we're starting to get that retracement on NAS. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, now we can cover some news. Okay, Iran may be reconsidering its vow to a harsh reprisal of Israel for last week's assassination of Hamas political bureau leader Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran. Washington Post columnist David Ignatius reported on Wednesday. What a name, David Ignatius. But he sounds like he should have fought in like the Crusades or something. Reported on Wednesday morning, citing White House officials. Very good source. White House officials. They tell the truth, right? The same White House officials that didn't tell their White House staff that Biden was dropping out. Then they had to find out through Twitter. Anyways, the regime's proxy militia in Lebanon, Hezbollah, is still a wild card. However, Ignatius added, it's not really a wild card. A wild card is something unexpected, right? So you have a militia force that's on the border between two countries that is an ally of the force that's being attacked in a neighboring country, that's being supported by Iran, who is now vowed to attack Israel. And you have a military force that's a proxy for Iran on the border. Seems like a very straightforward situation to me, right? I don't know how it's a wild card. You attack Lebanon, Hezbollah is going to respond. Iran wants to go to war with Israel, Hezbollah is probably going to get involved. They haven't gotten involved this whole time, despite the absolute annihilation of 40,000 people in Palestine, on a neighboring country. Hezbollah hasn't mobilized. there was a bomb that was sent, or there was a rocket sent, and I believe, based on all the reports, that that it was a misfire and had landed in the Golan Heights, killing 12 children playing soccer. That's why Israel is now animated and killed the Hezbollah leader. But Hezbollah has not entered the conflict for a reason. Nobody wants to die. Some people want to die because they don't have a choice, because they're animated by political or ideological belief or fanatical belief. But most of these guys just want to make money and get power. And if you annihilate your entire military force because you want to start beefing with America and Israel, that's not really a good way to keep power. And so despite the fact that they want to call him a wild card, here's how global political relations works, people. There are rational actors and there are irrational actors. Okay? And this is how this is like, if you want to stop being a 5-year-old when you're listening to the news where they try to tell you there's good guys and bad guys, the only good guys and bad guys are in fucking movies. They're in comic books, they're in Disney movies. The world is much more complicated, and the world is, now there are some people that are objectively bad. We can agree. I think we have a pretty good measure of what bad and good is if we look at, let's say, like if we're gonna throw up like a Mother Teresa on one side and then like a Hitler on the other side, I think we can build a pretty good metric system here for, like, you know what I'm saying? I'll be closer to one side or the other, right? But the way that geopolitical relations is rational versus irrational actors. Now, a rational actor is someone that does what's in the best interest of their country or for themselves. Okay? So people will say, let's say Putin is a bad guy. Now, you look at the fact that if you tell your competitive allied forces, don't put NATO troops on our border or we're going to attack, right? Because that's against that's a major threat to the country of Russia. And then they do it. And then Russia responds. Now, the Western media was saying that Vladimir Putin is unhinged, that he's a wild man, and that he's like just this crazy dictator, just a crazy guy. What they're trying to paint him as is the irrational actor. But if you look at it, it was pretty fucking rational. Every country has an obligation to itself and its citizens to do what's in their best interest first. And as long as a country's leader is abiding by that metric, then you'd say that they're a rational actor. Now, there are some places, let's say Maduro. If Maduro has policies that are directly hurting the country and hurting the people, and everything he's doing is literally making shit worse for no fucking reason, that's an irrational actor. The Democrats in America allowing 20 million undocumented folks into the country without any sort of registry for these folks, that's irrational, because the risk to national security, the risk to the political system through voting without IDs, the risk to destabilization of the economy through the employment crisis, because you increase the amount of people that are in the employment pool, then the unemployment rate is going to take a hit, as we've seen. Maybe more people have jobs, but there's so many more people in the workforce that it just looks worse. And so none of these things are good for the country at all. That's irrational. You understand? Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. ISIS at the time, right? They called themselves the Islamic State, but they were tearing down Islamic artifacts in every country, things that were 1,000 years old, that were the only last living proof that these certain historical events happened. And you remove history, you remove all semblance of the reminder of what happened, whether good or bad. That's irrational as fuck. How are you going to kill all your own people, kill a bunch of Muslims, burn down mosques? Like, the fuck does that even mean? Right? So that's the real difference, y'all, is whenever you're being pitched something in the next 4 months with all the war that's happening, and they're going to make one side look good or one side look bad, ask yourself, are they acting rationally in the best interest of their people and their progeny? Or are they actually unhinged and they're doing something that is counterproductive? I would actually argue that Netanyahu is an irrational actor, because before the October 7th attack, he was the least popular that he had ever been. There was protests in the streets of Israel to remove him and his far-right conservative government because they were making moves to try to change the judicial system to allow them to declare war whenever they wanted. And there's no more sort of like political pushback for constantly getting Israel in these conflicts. He was not that popular. What he is doing is going to is endangering Israel, has made Israel extremely unpopular on a global stage. And then the continued sort of agitation is like, if this was a branding exercise, he's fucking up the Israeli brand about as bad as you could. It's like Bud Light when they sent the box to Dylan Mulvaney. It's like, bro, you could have had like the right idea, but you're messing up this brand crazy. You need a Dana White to step in at this point to help you out. So, with that being said, they noted that the Biden administration has been sending a strong message to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu not to stand in the way of the hostage deal ceasefire negotiations. The reason I explained that entire backstory of rational versus irrational and giving you guys the perspective of Netanyahu and what he's doing for the Israeli people is that at this point, if your number one goal is to return the hostages and to reduce tensions so that Israeli soldiers stop dying, and to reduce tension so that all of the hostile neighbors in your area stop basically conspiring to blow you off the face of the earth, and you allow the negotiations to happen, if this is what you want, get the fuck out the way. But now in his address to the Senate, I believe last week, where Kamala Harris didn't attend, I'll be honest, look, not attending I think is not a good move. Even though I don't agree with Netanyahu, I think Kamala Harris is the VP, presides over the Senate. She's the head of the Senate. And so she should have been there. And then if she wanted to voice her disapproval, maybe she could have done it in a more subtle way and in a more sort of respectful way to the position that she holds. She doesn't have to be respectful to a foreign power that comes to our country in that sort of way, but to at least respect over her position over the Senate. She didn't do that. She basically scheduled a campaign event at the same time. Now, she did meet with Netanyahu, and this is why I'm telling you guys she's not going to win the presidency. She tried to be stern with Netanyahu, telling him, hey, we're not going to stand for this and da-da-da. He laughed in her face. She's like, we're going to do the ceasefire deal and we're not going to da-da, because she was speaking on behalf of the administration. He laughed in her face in the Oval Office. And then she just did that. There was a report that came out from somebody inside, said that she just laughed back nervously. But do you understand what would happen if Netanyahu laughed in Trump's face? Right? So all your friends that are talking about abortion or whatever dumb shit that they want to say, tell them, okay, yeah, you can kill all the babies you want when we get nuked. Okay, they're all gonna die anyways. So just fucking, vote for somebody that's actually going to be able to stand up to this political instability around the world. Warships have started moving to the region. We talked about this. They're equipped with anti-missile capabilities. It's a show of strength and it's a defensive measure. America knows better than to get involved in a Middle East war, people. We fucked up in Desert Storm. We fucked up in the Arab Spring. We fucked up in Iraq. We fucked up with Gaddafi and destabilizing that region. Maybe Gaddafi wasn't the worst one we did. Let's be honest. That was probably that one could have been worse. All right. It was Egypt. What else? We fucked up a lot, people. Afghanistan. Oh, Lord have mercy. Imagine the Biden administration fumbled Afghanistan that badly. And the first thing that we would do is enter another Middle East war. I don't think so. Said, yep, it is. It's a gap fill and 886 and previous support turn resistance. This is the previous 886 that we tried to buy from. If I want to see a retracement, honestly, I'd probably see quick wick to the upside and then push down. I'd like to see that. Ideally to this level here. Where's the bodies? I have to be here. No, this is it. Huh. Interesting. All right, same deal. Here we go. Biden administration was continuing to move quickly in order to prevent further escalation in the region. The Biden administration was continuing to move quickly. All right, the Jerusalem Post. Yeah, I know y'all want the support, man, and I get it. But let's not fucking lie, all right? It's been 3.5 years. Kamala Harris ain't moved to the border one time. They ain't moving quickly for nothing. What is this? The Independent? Man, can I get a real... All right, let's find two extremes. We have the New Woke Post, and we have Al Jazeera. I'd say these are about the most opposite that you can get. So let's go through both of these perspectives. I am not endorsing any of the news channels that I'm pulling up. You understand me? I am not endorsing any of the companies or the countries that they're sourced from. Be mature, be an adult, and let's look at the data itself without, panicking over the source of this information just yet, because we're trying to get a holistic perspective. Says, what are we talking about today? Basically everything that's been coming out my mouth. That's what I've been saying. Unless you want me to repeat all of it, which is crazy. Why is Iran expected to attack Israel? When was this put out? August 7th at 6 a.m. Okay. Yahya Sinwar, the guy who basically orchestrated the October 7th attacks, replaced the Hamas leader that we just killed. And that's the thing about Hamas, but it's like a seven-headed snake. Kill one, 50 more gonna keep popping up. Ayatollah Khamenei, bro, God, man, this is the problem. This is the problem in the middle. Okay, I'm not even gonna get opinionated because I know that's not my role. Actually, fuck that. Fuck that. That is my role. I'm gonna say whatever the fuck I want. But I've been getting so many people telling me what to say and what not to say on the streams. Let me be very, very, very respectfully clear. Fucking make me. Okay? I've been I feel like I've been censoring myself, but you guys deserve to get not only the news itself, and I'll be very clear when I'm about to give an opinion versus just the bare bones facts. But let's be real, you're not going to get a truthful opinion from anywhere that's informed. You guys think you're going to turn on even independent news podcasts who are getting paid 30, 40, 50K a month from all these sponsors, Manscaped and Blue Chew and this bullshit, and whatever that gold one that they're all pushing now? You think they're telling you what they actually think about the situation? Let's be real. So we have no sponsors, no nothing. And so I'm going to give my own personal opinion as Roy, not for Char Ad, it's my personal opinion. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, is the biggest problem in the Middle East. This is the reason for all the proxy wars. Who is funding Hamas and Hezbollah and the Houthis? It's not Iran. It's not the Iranian president that just got assassinated on a plane in his own country. He definitely wasn't on that side. Who is the religious fanaticist that's basically took their country 40 years backwards, where Iran used to be the #1 tourist hub in the Middle East? We're talking bikinis, we're talking bars, we're talking clubs, we're talking nightlife, we're talking royalty, we're talking like it was the Ibiza before Ibiza. Now we're 40 years behind. Women can't go to school. If that's not a problem, I don't know what the fuck is. And so let's make it very clear that who's really running the show here. How is Lebanon connected to the crisis? Let me see the New Woke Times. Let me see if they got this accurate. The Iranian government has said that the retaliatory attack. Markets are so slow today. Might have to take like a 15-minute trade here. We got London lows and Asia lows. Let's clean this up. Got ourselves a nice little scalp here. The TP3 stops below the New York low, puts us at a 2.3 to 1 R. Yep. Alert is already set. Okay, we'll come back to this in just a second. All right, Iranian government said its retaliatory attack will involve proxies, which includes Hezbollah, Houthis in Yemen, and militants in Iraq. The tensions between Israeli and Iran's proxies. Okay. They also killed the Hezbollah leader Fuad Shukr in Beirut, top-ranking commander. Hezbollah has been engaged in a tit-for-tat attack with Israel for months. Hezbollah's fired thousands of rockets and drones at Israel to profess its solidarity. I think a lot of that was performative. The WHO said on Monday that it had delivered 32 tons of emergency medical supplies to Lebanon in case of a wider conflict. Thank God. Wow. Okay. Also on Monday, a rocket attack targeting U.S. personnel housed at a base in Iraq's western desert injured several American service members. According to American defense officials, the attack on Ain al-Assad air base resemble previous ones carried out by Iran's backed Iraqi armed groups. The fuck did that just, that had nothing to do with Lebanon, bro. This whole second section was about Iraq. Okay, so the Israeli forces said we're prepared very strongly in defense on land and in the air, and ready to move quickly to attack or respond. We will exact a price from the enemy, as we have been doing in recent days. If it dares to attack us, it will pay a heavy price. Now, you guys want to know something very interesting? Is that instead of basically flattening Gaza to the ground, which, to be completely honest with y'all, Hamas brought on the Israeli people. Okay, if you're gonna, they did build a lot of the military capacity under main installations of hospitals and schools and churches. And let's just say, like, as a defense mechanism, I think Hamas actually thought it would work. They're like, oh, the West are a bunch of pussies. They're never gonna bomb children, and so this is like an easy win for us. And they were like, oh, fuck, they don't care about anybody. But they're flatlining damn near everything. And Hamas basically sacrificed the Palestinian people, and they deserve to be held accountable for that, if we're just going to be completely real. But it shows that in the past few days, or in the past week, they've targeted a very specific strike in Tehran where they planted bombs months in advance to kill that Hamas leader. And then a very targeted drone strike in the south of Beirut that did injure tons of civilians, but very specifically targeted one individual and a few of his commanders. Now, if you could have done that the whole time, why didn't you do that in Gaza? And if you could do that the whole time, why don't you just keep doing that? Because the more strategic decision makers that they take down, the better it is. Now, we were talking about this yesterday. I know we're kind of going too deep into the military side, but I think what's happening in the world is crucial. Here's the reality. If you take out the military leaders of a group, the new ones are just going to keep coming up, correct? If you create a lot of destruction in that group to the point where there's no more leadership to come up, there's no more leadership people who are respected enough in that organization or have enough experience and decades of experience to take over that leadership, what happens is you actually get chaos. So what happened in Iraq is that you had a horrible leader in Saddam. But when you destabilize a region, then you lead to 50 small subgroups. Now you have ISIS, and now you have all these other, highly motivated groups. And chaos is always worse. You take out the Bloods and Crips in California, organized crime. What happens? Now you have 50,000 small gangs that don't care, that don't have rules, that don't respect women and children, that don't respect anything. You go to New York, you had the mob, organized crime. Take down the mob. What happens? You got all these people who are going to do bad anyways, now just doing things with no rules, no oversight, no morality, and no order. You understand? So I think that this is actually a strategic thing that the Western powers are doing, which is not eliminating the groups completely, eliminating enough of them to demoralize them and their troops. If I kill you on your own land, and then I put a battleship from the US on the coast to show you can't do shit, that's going to demoralize you. It's not going to destabilize you, though, to the point where now there's no rules. They're coming from everywhere. They're killing everybody. There's so many small groups coming around, and you just don't know who to attack when. That, I think, is a very smart strategy. Now, I don't know if they're doing it on purpose. I hope so. Or maybe I'm just too smart for my own good. Who fucking knows? But if there's anything I know about military strategists, is they're the best in the world. All right, they got this shit down. Roy, could you please give a quick outlook on U30? Got you. Happy birthday, Leo season in full effect. I don't do none of that superstitious nonsense, brother. So I'm not a Leo, right? I'm a legend. You understand me? This is God did. He said the moon and the stars. This is God did. Didn't the U.S. fund Al-Qaeda back in the days? We funded Al-Qaeda in part, but it was really the Taliban that America started, because the Taliban was a local militia force that what were we just talking about? The Taliban? Yeah, they were a militia force trying to fight the Soviets, kick them out of Afghanistan. So America trained them, trained, it was a CIA operation to train the militias and to give them arms and weapons, including Osama bin Laden and some of the other leaders in that region. Successfully kicked out the Soviets, and then we tried to do nation building there. And then the Taliban basically got so big that they took over the government. They became the military force of the country. And then we fought them for a while and tried to do nation building or whatever the fuck. And then we left them 20 years later, trillions of dollars in the drain, millions of people dead. We gave them $100 billion of the top US equipment, brand new, left that entire country to the behest of the Taliban, who are literally taking their country 50 years backwards or 1,000 years backwards, just like Iran did. Women can't go to schools. They have that religious police where if you're caught, you can see the ankle in the street. It's all done. And we basically, this is the biggest fuck up, I think, in American history. The Afghanistan pullout is probably the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen. And I'm so embarrassed to be American after that shit, bro. You have no idea. Like, some things you'll play, I'll be like, yeah, but we're the biggest military in the world. There is nothing you can say to dig yourself out of the embarrassment of the Afghanistan pullout. There is nothing that anybody could say to justify it. And the fact that nobody's in jail, that no one's been fired from the Biden administration for that disaster, we just armed our number one enemy that we've been fighting for 20 years with $100 billion of the brand newest equipment. Are we fucking retarded? Bro, what the fuck was that? The more I think about it, the more mad I get, bro. Who the fuck approved this? Who allowed this to happen? Anyways, I'm sorry, y'all. I got a little animated there, but this is absolutely nuts. Yo, man, much respect to you. Love what you say. It's important. God bless. Do us a favor and stick to markets. You don't know shit about Gaza. All of Gaza is Hamas. And he's got the Hebrew name. All right, well, clearly you have an agenda. And so I understand where your perspective is coming from. But just like I said earlier, make me. The fuck are you going to do about it? Sit there in your chair and you know what I'm saying? And keep typing, bro. The fuck are you going to do about it? Don't tell me what to do, people. You're going to tell me what to do face to face. The fuck you think you're going to tell me what to do online? Are you out of your, are you off your noggin? Buddy, are you off your biscuit? Are you crazy? This dude's, yo, son, I've missed this version of Roy. Well, tell all these people in the group, in my family, in the Chart Editors group, to stop fucking censoring me on these streams. Oh, it's not gonna help. It's not gonna help. Clearly, it ain't fucking helping, bro. We ain't selling shit anyways, bro. Let me get real. So, yo, you're roasting people heavy, bro. I haven't even started. What are you talking about? All I said was that the guy has an agenda and that he's not gonna do anything about it. That's a fact. That's not a roast. People are just so soft that they take anything as a roast, right? If I tell somebody you'll never make it to the NBA, right? He's 4'8", right? I'm gonna tell him you're not gonna make it to the NBA. Bro, 99% of the stream will be like, oh, Roy hates short people. Roy's a heightist or whatever the fuck you call it, right? But it is fucking true. Now, if you don't like the truth, first off, give up trading. Because the whole point of trading is discerning signal from noise, telling truth from fiction. And then while there's so much up and down and back and forth, and there's all this information, and people are on the chats, and people are on Twitter, and everyone's got a group chat, your job is to discern the difference between truth, what is actually in front of you, and what is your brain trying to convince you that's in front of you. Your brain will convince you there's opportunity all the time on the charts. Your job is to use your own discretion to be better and to tell the difference between truth and not, no matter how much it hurts. This trade's not going my way. That's true. That's your eyes not lying to you. Your brain's going to tell you, oh, but it could reverse on you. Just stay in. Oh, double down. Oh, enter another trade, right? The rational thing is this trade's not going against me. That hurts. Let me rip off this Band-Aid. That hurts, but it's true. He says, make me do it. Yeah, bro. Fem, make my day, actually. If I'll be honest. So let my boy cook. It's his birthday. He's making his cake. But I do this every day. Well, almost every day. I've been getting censored, so this is not a birthday thing at all. Can you give us a deep dive on NASDAQ? Yeah, we do. And I'll be doing it again in 24 days. August 26th at 8 p.m. We're doing a 4-day NASDAQ master class. Everything you need to know about NASDAQ, how to trade it, how to make money, and how to navigate prop firms, the futures markets and scale, etc. The ultimate guide to mastering NAS. The NASDAQ 2.0 folks, we're going to have some people in our group talk about the success that they've had, how they've been achieving the results that they've been achieving, and how to scale in a massive way. That's going to be pretty big. Okay, cool. Can we go over US 30? No. If anybody in the Chart Addicts group asks for any recommendations for pairs, I will cover it. I'm not going to go over any pairs from the YouTube. Awesome stuff. All right. Cool. So Middle East is in shambles. Is anybody here surprised? Nope. Is it going to go away in the next 50 years? Nope. If America and Israel disappear off the face of the earth, is the Middle East going to go into a state of peace forever? You fucking thought. All right. Again, let's be rational. Denver Broncos, the fuck? Okay, what else is going on in the world? We had... Yeah, what is happening in Ukraine and Russia? I haven't got an update in God knows how long. Putin accuses Ukraine of large-scale provocation with its raid in southwestern Russia. So Ukraine is still provoking Russia. Russia is still claiming provocation, and they're still fighting. Nice. Putin calls for a project to promote traditional Russian values overseas. Well, if the West wants to export all that dumb ass shit on all the trans bullshit and all this other stuff, Russia's talking about, we're going to export our own values. Yeah, first off, good luck. Russia is not known for exporting ideas, right? America is. Like, leave that to America. You guys can export natural resources, right? You guys can export tough sons of bitches. Leave the ideas to us. Okay. I read an article, Ukraine is out of money again, and they couldn't pay their debts. Well, Ukraine never had money in the first place. We dragged them into a war and sacrificed the Ukrainian people so that we could kind of stick it to Putin for basically, fuck. Yeah, I can't say that on the stream. They were trying to spite Putin, like the warmongers and the sort of elite cabal in the US, what we call the deep state. They had personal beefs with Putin. Putin basically outsmarted them every fucking step of the way. And we basically sacrificed the Ukrainian people so that we could deplete the resources of Russia. It backfired in a big way because oil basically we didn't expect that Saudi Arabia would not respect Biden, right? And so they were like, okay, we're going to basically deplete their resources, and Saudi Arabia is going to continue to pump oil in the market, so oil is not going to go up in price. Wrong. Saudi Arabia spited us. Oil prices went through the roof. Russia got so rich that they basically replenished their entire arsenal. And then we felt so bad and so stupid for basically dragging Ukraine into this bullshit that we just kept sending billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars to try and help them out. But now that there's no more Ukrainian men left and no one to rebuild that country and no one to raise these families and no one to basically regrow that country from the ground up, that country is gone. And it's going to be open for business to BlackRock, Fidelity, not Fidelity. sorry. Fidelity. No, fuck. I'm sorry. I don't want to. God damn it. BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard. I didn't mean to throw Fidelity in there. I'm sorry. They ain't doing nothing. They're just managing people's money and some insider trading and stuff, but we're good. So yeah, BlackRock's going to go buy a bunch of real estate as they already have. There's already no bid contracts on reconstruction in Ukraine as there was in Syria. And guess who has that contract? BlackRock. Okay? So everything's a conspiracy theory because, you know what I'm saying? Why is it a conspiracy? Because look, all right, here's how this works. Okay? I'm going to use an example that's near and dear to all of us, which is trading. You guys know how these prop firm news sites started coming out? Put a 1 in the chats if you guys have seen the prop firm news sites. How that affects NASDAQ? Bro, the trade is already set up. Okay, how does it affect NASDAQ? Who fucking cares? When you're trading smaller time frames, when you're trading an entry model, don't look at higher time frame dynamics and larger time frame geopolitical dynamics to gauge what's going to happen step by step on NASDAQ. It's so uncorrelated that it'll make your head spin. There's zero correlation. So you have a technical strategy. We have an entry model. We're waiting for this. And what I'm doing with the geopolitical stuff is trying to give you an understanding of what's happening in the world so that you're not ignorant. but try your best to not confuse the two. I'm not going through this news because it's going to affect the NASDAQ price right now. Okay, what's really affecting NASDAQ price is corporate earnings. It's global liquidity markets. So what is the liquidity index saying? And is there money in the system? And then monetary policy from the central banks. Those three things we're watching for. I've explained that September, a lot of money is going to get pumped into the markets. And we've been looking for a recovery on NASDAQ ever since. If that's confusing to you, I don't know what else to say. I don't know about the prop firm news. There's like prop firm journal and prop news and all this stuff. If you're on Twitter, you'll have seen those news sites. But what people didn't know is the majority of those were started by prop firms themselves as like a propaganda arm. You understand? And so it's the same thing with media organizations. Like, why does Bezos buy the Washington Post? The national, like the national newspaper and the newspaper of DC. The DC, the place where all the most powerful leaders in all of America are. You understand? So it's like when you go on the news, they're going to give you fake information because their job is not to give you real information. This is what pisses me off is everyone keeps calling mainstream media this and mainstream news this. Dude, you people fucking stupid? Mainstream media is not lying to you. They're telling you exactly what they want to tell you. Just like with the politicians, I said this before. If you think the politicians are here to work for you and to actually do what's best for the American people and to actually do what's best for the future of America, then yeah, they probably look very stupid. They look very incompetent. They probably look very, evil and all this stuff. But when you start to realize they are there to get reelected, to boost their own personal goals and achievements, and it's all about personal gain, then they start to look like fucking geniuses, don't they? We're the fucking idiots because we keep falling for it, right? So it's the same thing with the media. If you think that their job is to sit here and tell you the truth and to actually give you solid reporting and stuff, then yeah, you're going to see them as they're lying to us and they're doing this and that. But if you realize that they're a propaganda arm that is strictly funded by the companies that they are providing cover for and creating narratives based on the, like the acceptable conversations, then you'll start to realize that all of it is fake. It's all fake. You'll get just enough news, which is the common headline, which is why I told you guys I want to go AP, I want to go new woke post, and then I want to go Al Jazeera because I want the extremes, and then I want to make my own central. What are the commonalities between the extreme left and the extreme right explanation of this happening? Because if they both are lying about the most important stuff in the article, but they at least have certain things in common. Okay, so I'll take that as my base layer, and then I'll go try to find some moderate sources that'll confirm that base layer kind of assumption. What I'm doing here is just giving you guys an informed take because it matters. Aren't all the medias owned by one company in the US? Kind of. There's like 5 major families that own the media hubs in America. Okay. And they're not all bad, but they clearly have an agenda. So you can see the family that owns CNN. Warner Brothers owns. Wait, they own Discovery. Come on, bro. Why are they being so annoying with see they try to hide this stuff. Family that owns CNN. All right. I guess they must have sold. Oh, Rupert Murdoch. Why am I so Ted Turner? There it is. So Ted Turner founded CNN. Okay, Turner Media. And then Rupert Murdoch was, I believe, is the current owner or the owner right before they sold. And then the family that owns the CNN or that owns Fox, it's a very famous family in America. What the? Whoa, whoa, whoa. No, the Murdochs don't own Fox anymore. It was purchased by Disney. Dude, Warner Brothers and Disney is buying up all the mainstream media outlets. Disney is the new woke. Yo, that's not good at all. Fiction companies that specify in Hollywood production and fiction should not be owning mainstream media. Can anybody here see a problem with this? Is the companies that make Pixar movies and the ones that can literally fake anything on movies and that can fake any media and literally have the best production teams in the entire world, actors, media dissemination, storylines that last generations should have nothing to do with news. Am I the only one that finds a problem with this? That's like Endeavor and WME and Endeavor buying the UFC. It's like, okay, so yeah, they're gonna start fixing fights. So like, what's the deal? They're creating fantasies and reality. Has anybody here ever seen the movie Wag the Dog? Wag the Dog is the best kind of explanation of what's happening in Ukraine. Wag the Dog is a movie where the US government was pretending that we were in a war, and then they used a production studio to basically keep this idea going on the news that we were in a war, to be able to kind of like, do what they had to do, to be able to like gain more power and stuff. So they pretended that they were in a war using it was kind of like this whole conspiracy theory of we didn't go to the moon with the moon landing. That one's a little bit tougher to kind of get through because we have NASA and stuff. But the war machine is willing to, how do I say this without ending up in a ditch? Dude, you really can't say shit like about shit that matters without having to like second guess it, bro. It's kind of crazy. I'm just gonna type it so I don't have to say it. Okay, we'll just look up how many whistleblowers have died in the Boeing lawsuit. There's a Boeing lawsuit for a lot of negligence and hiring malpractice. And there's been a lot of the whistleblowers who are supposed to give testimony just ending up missing. Okay, let's take this. The third Boeing whistleblower lives in terror. The video features commentary. A second Boeing whistleblower has died, and the third told Congress he fears for his life. I'm not trying to make a joke of this because this is actually horrible, but they're doing this in plain sight. So I'm laughing at Boeing being so stupid as to think that the world is not watching. Okay. This is great. This is unbelievable. We got to see what's happened with the lawsuit. This is pretty new. So here's what I would say is if they would kill whistleblowers just to stop them from talking about manufacturing defects that were in a few parts or some hiring malpractice, what do you guys think they will do to drive trillions of dollars in sales and to bring us into the brink of global war? You guys think they would create a few fake scenes, or maybe take some scenes from real horrific things happening in the world, but amplify them or chop them in a way that would amplify sentiment for war? You see a bunch of dead babies, you're like, oh my God, yeah, we gotta go get them. You guys think they would do that for a couple trillion? Because the answer is yes. I've had people slight me in business for tens of thousands of dollars. I can almost and this was like in a very evil way that they had done this. I can promise you that for trillions of dollars and all the power in the world, they will do anything. And they do think that you're stupid. They don't think I'm stupid. They know for damn sure the time it is. All right. Okay, let's see. It feels like everyone is waiting for it to be the man in office and see what he's going to do. We know exactly what he's going to do. That's why they're trying to kill him. They know what he's going to do. He's going to shut this whole fucking game down. He said he was going to drain the swamp the first time, and he got fucked over by basically having recommendations from people around him. To the talk inside the Republican Party is, let's surround Trump with people who are more establishment, so to kind of counterbalance his craziness. And he ended up having a bunch of swamp creatures in his cabinet, which ruined his previous presidency. That's why he was firing people every week. All right. But this time around, is he going to drain the swamp, and is he going to basically put everyone on skates? Is he going to rein in the FBI through the executive powers? Is he going to, you know what? I don't know if it would be good for the country, but we need it. We need the files released after he's elected about what the DOJ was doing to try and stifle his elections, because the gaslighting is, you'll tell a Democrat that the current administration is using the judicial system to try to slight their opponent. Now, anyone with half a brain can see that, because you can't have this many things add up. And then after a certain point, when the first criminal conviction of a president in the whole United States is not for a war crime, but it's for paying hush money to a porn star. So it wasn't a rape case. He banged a porn star and then paid her not to say nothing. That's what he got indicted for? Are we fucking crazy? right? So the Democrats, they know that there's nothing on him, but they just have to keep that charade going because they don't have anything on their side. And I know I'm kind of seeming partisan, but this is literally how I'm watching the game unfold. And I'm a libertarian. Leave me the fuck alone. You understand? But if we're watching the game as it is, it's pretty straightforward what's happening. The reason I want the files released is just like the Twitter files. When I used to tell people that we're getting shadow banned and that they're not boosting our stream and all this stuff, they'll be like, "Yeah, maybe your content just sucks, Roy. Maybe you just suck." Y'all have been on this stream for an hour now. You know the content doesn't fucking suck. You can't even pretend that that's true. This is the perfect middle point between entertainment and knowledge and value, and also making money in real time while I'm showcasing what it takes to have iron balls by putting my money, reputation, and brand on the line by trading live in front of you people. I teach this strategy in a course. If we're fucking losing every day, and that's not necessarily good, right? So there's a giant risk in what I'm doing here. And so people would always tell me, Roy, maybe your content's just not that good. That's why it's not getting pushed out. Then the Twitter files come out. Then they say that any mention of certain words were getting deleted. Certain people were getting investigated. And then I'm like, wow, I wasn't fucking crazy the whole time. And it's going to be the same thing this time around. Everyone wants to pretend like there isn't a conspiracy between the Fed and the Treasury, between the Department of Homeland Security and the State Department, and then the justice system isn't colluding with these local judicial appointees that were funded by Soros, by the way, that there isn't this giant orchestrated attempt to keep Donald Trump off the ballot, because there is. So if he releases those files, then normal people and rational people feel vindicated, and then all the gaslighters basically get to hang their head in shame. But they're also kind of diluted. But oh damn, my bad. Did I drink yours? Oh shit. Yeah, but they're also kind of diluted to the point where like they don't really care about facts. Here's a quote for you guys to keep with you: is you can't reason somebody out of an opinion that they weren't reasoned into in the first place. All right, like putting tampons in men's bathrooms. You don't arrive at that perspective through rationale or through reason, and so you can't reason somebody out of that opinion. You're not going to talk them out of it. He said the Hillary hit list is a good example, and I love Hillary Clinton. I voted for Biden. I took all the boosters, and I identify as she, her. No, they still hit women. I identify as them. Okay. You can't do violence against me now. We're good. I've realized, bro, men can hit women now. So I'm like, fuck, you can't even identify as a woman, get away with it now. Be safe. I had to be in the in-betweens. He said Hillary hit list. I don't know anything about that, brother. All I know is Hunter Biden is definitely a painter, and he definitely deserves that $500K for the painting. Take all the boosters, everybody. Keynesian economics for the win. Modern monetary theory. All right. Print all the money. Fuck the debt. Right? Love it. It's another one. What's another one here? Oh yeah, put the sex books in the kids' schools. Put all of them. Do all of it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Beat up the women in boxing. Let's get it done. You feel me? All right, guys, I'm done. All of that was satire. I'm fucking around. Don't. So you took the boosters? Bro, I was fucking joking. I'm trying not to get shot or kicked off YouTube. Either one. Okay? I love them all. Hunter Biden. Best guy, right? Love it all. Laptop wasn't real. Don't know. Opening of the Olympics, loved it. All right, I'm done. They want us to know what they want us to know, not the truth. I agree. That's why it's your responsibility in a world with so much information. People say that because we have so much access to information that it's a good thing. You guys don't understand. It's a lot easier to find a needle on the floor than it is to find a needle in a haystack. You understand? Let me say that again. People who think that having all this access to information is a good thing, is going to make you more informed. That's not how it works. It's a lot easier to manipulate people with an overflow of information. It's easier to hide truth, a fish in a school of fish, than to be a lone fish swimming amongst the minnows or amongst the sharks, whatever the fuck the saying is. I'm making this up on the spot. They even start owning social media, and they start with Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast, I mean, the name itself, now in hindsight, does that rub anybody the wrong way? Mr. Beast. Monster Energy. I don't know, man. Look, I don't know. Something about it. Bill Gates juice. Oh. All right, y'all. We're wrapping up the stream. Thank you guys for your participation. This is my stop, and this is where I get off. Somebody's trying to get me shot, man. All right, super secret magnet indicator crushing it as usual. Let me give a quick prediction. Magnet indicator never lies. We're going to be shooting up there like that one scene in Breaking Bad with Jesse and they got the magnets, bitch, that whole thing. We're going to see this big magnet right there. Then we're probably going to make it back down to the 101 range. September, once the money starts getting flooded into the system, we see a recovery. You guys are probably asking yourself, very counterintuitive, how is it once they start printing trillions that the market will crash? Roy, I thought supply and demand said that when you print trillions, the dollar is supposed to drop. Okay. And then I remind you every day that the markets are 6 months forward looking. So when they saw the M2 money supply do that blow off top, they basically just realized, okay, dollar is going to drop in value because obviously it's overabundant. They're going to start to drop interest rates, which is going to make borrowing a lot more available, more accessible, which means that right now, get rid of the dollar, start buying up all these assets on the floor. Next month, when they start printing trillions, all your assets will go up. Stocks, bonds, commodities included, and crypto. It's not going to all happen in 1 month. Do not expect a V-shaped recovery for this one because it's only a 25 basis point cut. Now, because it's the start of a rate cutting cycle, that's what could drive like a very big market reaction at one point. But I don't expect a quick V-shaped recovery just yet. I think by November, we'll be back at all-time highs. So this may be a process as opposed to an instant. Okay. All right, good stuff. So for now, the DXY is going to drop. They're going to be putting a lot of this money into assets, as we've seen with US 30. Let's just call it all US stocks. We saw it happen with the Nikkei in Japan, and we saw it happen with the Kospi over in Korea. So those stock markets have recovered. Investors are buying the discounts. Expect that to continue through the next 2-3 months. So short-term bearish action on the dollar, long-term we recover. And yeah, I'm watching. I mean, to be honest, I want to buy as much as I want to buy UJ. Something's telling me that the dollar still has some room to go. And by that something, I mean, it's the DXY chart that we just looked at. All right, y'all. Okay, any more questions, comments, concerns before we hop off? I got a full day today. I got a meeting in 20 minutes. I still haven't prepped for. So we're going to be getting that done. When we join the masterclass, what do we get access to besides the 4 days of the class? So this is actually something we're implementing, Radioactive. Great question. You're going to get access to the Intro to Trading course that we put out, which is essentially going to give you a precursor to how to trade, just so that you have a foundation before we go into the masterclass, so we can go into some more relevant topics. We don't have to spend too much time on the basics. We can cover support resistance, and we can cover finding trends. We can cover finding using your Fibonacci tools and some of those very basics. So that way, in the main class, we can just go into how to trade NASDAQ specifically. You will also get access to the pre NASDAQ exam. So the pre-masterclass exam to test your skills and kind of test your knowledge. So you have a baseline. So after you're done, you're going to take the exam again, and you're going to be able to judge sort of your improvement in your understanding of how NASDAQ works and how this strategy works so you can take advantage. If you guys are in the Masterclass 2.0, you're going to have access to all the recordings from Masterclass 1.0. And so you're going to have the full catalog, but we're going to be siphoning through it and finding those quick, sort of short, like the parts where we really hit on specific topics in a great way. And then we're going to be making those into a fully relevant course, and giving everyone in the 2.0 class access to that as well. It says, I'm a short NASDAQ. Y'all saw it here first. No, you saw it. You saw it. Didn't we call the shorts earlier? Oh, you said 786? Oh, 746. Bro, how's that like a flex? And either way, you're wrong. Yeah, it's gonna go higher. If it's gonna crash from under 600, or it's gonna crash from 19,350. So this is why do not take unsolicited advice, especially not from people on YouTube, because just read some of the comments sometimes, man. And that don't tell you everything you need to know. No trading today, y'all. It's a slow ass day. If we took the masterclass already, do we have to pay full price if we want to go through it again? No. You get 50% off. And then if you're a VIP member, if you just pay for the VIP membership, you actually get free access. So if you've taken the masterclass, you're the only one that's allowed in the VIP. So I highly recommend that everyone who's taken the class just pay the 99 for the fucking VIP and get the classes for free. Like I said, it's a no-brainer, honestly. Which is why I'm surprised so many of you that have taken the class aren't in the group, even though you're constantly on the YouTube. It's like, yo, if y'all like the class, then you're gonna love it when you can get it for free and to be inside the group. But anyways, is my birthday? Yes, 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 it is. Thanks, Camille. I appreciate it. I trade different from the masses. Can't be sheep. Just remember my short, brother. I already forgot about you and you're short. So the fuck do I look like remembering you, brother? Said, I'm not sheep. I'm not this, but you're out here trying to tell us about your trade on YouTube as if we give a fuck. All right. If you want to be a wolf, go do your own fucking thing. Be a lone wolf. Get the fuck off YouTube. And then, all that shit that you want to be, live up to it. All right. Members, slow ass trading day. It's the way it goes. Good to see y'all.